Age of Aquarius, Year of the Fire Horse, and there has been some fire cinema in theaters recently. I recently went and saw Is God Is and I Love Boosters in theaters, and I just thought both of them were really good movies, and each director portrayed their messages in such unique ways. Is God Is was directed by Alicia Harris, and it is her debut movie, and it's about two twin sisters that kind of go like on a revenge tour to get back at their dad for burning them and their mother. Now, I know there's been a lot of discourse around the portrayal of the male figure in the movie, and I think the director nailed it. That's a real life story for some people. And although it does hurt maybe to see that depiction, this happens all the time, and we cannot deny that. There are real life stories that we have currently been seeing of this exact thing happening. So I don't really want to hear it, honestly. But some of my favorite things about the way that this director kind of designed the movie, I love how there are little sections where the twins are talking to each other, and it's kind of this idea of like the twin telepathy, and you see like the text pop up on the screen, but the actors are really good at like acting out kind of like in their head if you were talking to someone, telepathically or whatever, how that would look. And I just loved that. I've never seen that in a movie, so that was really cool. But my favorite part is that the director did not show a lot of violence towards the women. So like even when there's like a part, and this is kind of like a spoiler, but when they meet their mom and the mom is showing them like what the dad did, and she goes to like open the blanket, and they don't show the part. They just show the actors reacting to it. And I just enjoy that because recently there has been a lot of media that is portraying harm to women. And I know this is nothing new, it happens all the time. But just with real life stuff going on, we really don't need to see it as well in movies. And there are ways that you can portray it without it being really weird. And so she does a really good job at portraying the violence, but not in a gory way. And I just really appreciate that. I'm not a big gory fan, so I was able to, sit through the movie and not feel sick. But she still got her point across, and it was still horror. So I thought that was a really good movie. I felt really empowered, obviously, after I don't really condone all of the things that happened, but it is good to see women taking back their power in movies, even if it's not in the best way. Now, with I Love Boosters, this was my first full Boots Riley movie, and I say full because I tried to watch Sorry to Bother You so many times, but I would just fall asleep. I would put it on before I was going to sleep, and I just never could stay up throughout it. So this is my first time watching a full movie by him, and I am obsessed. I fear that I am going to go down a rabbit hole, and like he's going to be one of my top movie directors. I love the way that he takes the real life issues that need to be talked about, and he kind of creates his own world and makes it so surreal that it's just like in your face. And I do understand maybe why people would be leaving the theater. One, if you're not used to that like, quirky type of movie, but two, this is a very layered movie, and like I'm gonna go watch it again. I'm gonna take notes this time so I can kind of do a little bit more of a deeper analysis, because I do think if you don't understand, it kind of sucks. You're missing out on the brilliance that Boots Riley did by like having certain symbols like the eviction notices and all of these past due bills and stuff in a ball just like following you, and it's literally like a visual representation of what that feels like. And there's just so many layers, so I do want to come back or I want to watch it again and take notes on it and do a little bit of analysis, because if you kind of understand the surface level, I do think it's worth looking at videos or watching people kind of break it down more so you can understand the deeper messages, because it is very important messages that he is portraying, but he makes it so fun and so funny. The actors are so good and they work so well together. So overall, I loved it. I think you should definitely go support both of those movies in the theaters. But also, obviously, I've been watching Euphoria. Last episode was the first decent episode of the season. I was surprised, I was shook, but what was surprising me even more was the discourse after it, and like all the random theories that people are coming up with, or just the fact that people aren't understanding why certain things happened, or why these IDs are ending up because they got robbed, and those IDs were what they robbed from Alamo. But I don't know if it's like people aren't watching fully the episodes and like not fully paying attention, or if literacy issue, because I do think that is a part of it, unfortunately. Literacy is so important in so many aspects, but being able to enjoy good film is one of those. And I barely started getting into like film analysis. I barely started getting into films in general, but really into the analysis because there's so many different things that go into it, just like the coloring, the way things are filmed, like the angles of things, lighting, and what that means. Certain lighting has certain meanings in film. But if you don't understand basic literacy or like critical thinking and analysis, you're not going to get those subtle hints. With Euphoria, the foreshadowing and the subtle hints aren't really subtle. It's very obvious. And so that's what worries me about the literacy crisis that we have going on right now, is that people aren't even able to enjoy media that way, but also it's causing this issue where movies and shows are having to be a little bit more obvious and out loud with these messages and what they're saying. They have to kind of tell you instead of show you because people aren't understanding. And that sucks. And so I hope that like the Boots Riley and the Ryan Coogler and the Jordan Peeles out there like continue to make movies that are deep for the people like us who do love looking into the deeper meanings or understand the deeper meanings. And even if you don't understand, that's fine. Like I said, I just got into this and there's things I still don't understand, but I love learning about them. So I'll watch people like break them down, or watch different people and see what they catch, and people who write film or people who direct, and see how, why they would film it this way, or what that angle means, and how the shot was set up and why. Like all those things really help to make the experience of you watching it and digesting it better. So I guess the lesson or the message of this week: read and do a book report, or watch a movie and watch someone. If you're like barely wanting to get into this, watch a movie and then watch someone on YouTube break down the movie, and then try to do it yourself the next time you watch a similar movie or something that you would be interested in. Because I don't know, I feel like y'all are missing out because you're not understanding certain things, and so you don't get the full experience, the full message. So tomorrow is the finale of Euphoria for this season, and I don't know, we'll see what happens. I might come on here and talk about it a little bit more. I know I haven't really been talking about it because I don't know how I feel still about the season. I get irritated every time, but obviously I'm still watching because there's some parts that I'm like, I'm interested in. I just want to see how it ends. I got to see it through. But there's just so many plot holes, and there's like, they're not doing certain characters right, and it's just, I don't know, the vibes are off. But I am gonna watch the finale. So yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about this week. Go support Black film in theaters. Wait, actually, one more thing. Yesterday I got to see, hold on, let me get the flyer. I got to see this live an orchestra at our symphony hall that we have in Arizona, and it was a mix of Stravinsky and Kendrick Lamar's Damn, and it was really cool. They mixed, so the ballet and Damn are kind of similar in the three like main topics that it covers: love, lust, and fear, I think it was. And so they mix the ballet with Kendrick's Damn, and they do it like song for song, and it was so cool. They had like MCs there rapping the lyrics, they had like a vocalist singing, and obviously, I mean, hearing Kendrick's music live version with an orchestra, oh my god, I was getting emotional. It was really good. So if this, I guess it's traveling, so if it comes to your city, I highly suggest you go see it. It's something new and it's just like an immersive experience. But I just think it's so cool that they were able to tell a story through these two separate forms of art. And I think it would be really cool too if they would do this, but also add the actual ballet dancers in it so you could also visually see it. I think that would be really cool. So I don't know, maybe that will happen in the future, but yeah, I just had to shout that out because that was so much fun. So definitely go check it out if it's in your city.